Do I have any unusual hobbies?
You do difficult jigsaws.
Yeah, I do difficult jigsaws. I once had a jigsaw with 1,000 pieces with baked beans on. I gave up with that one actually. I decided there was just no point or purpose in putting these 1,000 pieces together, all of baked beans. We live in Birmingham. We're both physics teachers. We're married. We have 3 children. Going back 7 years, I transitioned, which means that I transitioned from male to female. I was called David. I had feelings of wanting to transition from a really young age. You just realise there's not a lot you can do with this, so you bottle it up, you keep going and you get on with life. We met as students in the physics department.
We ended up dating, we went to our local church and got married about 3 years later. And then had children, and we, as far as I was concerned, were very happily married.
The struggles I had internally from when I was young were always there, but they were manageable, and life was easy without bringing them up. Being a Christian, I did feel that this was very much an area I tried to keep God out of and to keep shut up and locked away.
I did not realise what my spouse was struggling with at the time and needing to transition.
It's something which I'd struggled with for years but managed suddenly became totally unmanageable. My mental health deteriorated rapidly. It came to a point when I've had to tell people, and I told Stephanie.
I can't remember that bit very well. What I do remember is that after Debbie told me, telling the children that their dad wanted to become a woman was probably one of the worst days of my life. I felt that I'd lost my husband. I wasn't a widow, I wasn't divorced, I wasn't single, I wasn't separated, but I was somewhere in the middle. And that was a very hard place to be.
The relief of being able to express myself in these ways and looking forward to transitioning was huge. I had no idea how inwardly focused I was, and the burden on her was huge at the time.
I remember praying one time and remembering Romans 15 verse 7, which says, "Accept one another then as Christ has accepted you in order to bring praise to God." And that phrase made me look at it with a slightly different perspective, and that to the best of my ability I needed to accept her.
I'd resolved in my head the idea that God accepts us as who we are, not as who we are not, so including being trans.
We stayed together initially because we wanted to try and be good parents to our children. Since Debbie transitioned, it has been an improvement. We actually started working together a bit better and started listening to each other a little bit more. Life is better together than apart. We're still good friends. We support each other. We're both parents to our children. People do wonder about our sleeping arrangements. We do sleep in separate beds.
But one issue is when you meet new people, isn't that difficult?
We were at an event for our son, and someone came up to us and said, "So who are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm my son's mother." And then Debbie said, "And I'm my son's father." And this man's face, and so I had to kind of step into the breach and say something polite like, "And what are you here for?" I think the biggest difference in the future is that we won't have any children at home from next year, and I'm looking forward to visiting certain places in Europe, but we can go together and see these cities.
We've come through an awful lot together with my transition and other things, and looking ahead to the future, I do feel that, you know, if we can get through this together, then we can do anything. We're Debbie and Stephanie, and we're living in love and faith.